Welcome back to my booktube channel. This is really the first time that I'm making a booktube video, and to be honest, I am a little bit nervous. I know I don't really have a real reason to be, but yeah, something about this format just freaks me out a little bit. So we're gonna be doing the booktube newbie tag today, and basically what I understand from that is that I'm gonna be answering a couple of questions just kind of on my background and what brings me to booktube, because I've been a lurker for a number of years now and kind of just put off a time when I was gonna make my own channel. I've had my channel for about 2 years now, but I've never actually done anything with it, and so now I'm doing something with it. 2025. So first question is to briefly introduce yourself. So I'm Hannah. I'm 27 years old, but turning 28 in a couple of days. I have been on Bookstagram for almost 3 years at this point, and that was kind of my first foray into the online bookish community, and it's been a really great time. I've made a ton of good friends, and I've kind of just grown a little bit frustrated with a couple of things. One, with the Instagram algorithm. I feel like my, community isn't really growing. I see the same people over and over again, and it's really hard to connect and find new people in that way. Second is that you're very limited with the type of content that you can create. Maybe that's disingenuous. It's not that you're limited, it's more just that it doesn't provide for long form content anymore. Unless you're gonna do Instagram lives, which sound terrifying for me because I like to edit on the back end. So that brought me to booktube. And like I said, this is the kind of content I've consumed for a really long time, just on the sidelines. And so being in as an actual creator is something that I'm really excited about. So I kind of wrapped that into question number 2, which is, why did you start this channel? But it's just to be able to talk about books in more of a long form content way. I don't think I necessarily am bringing something that's so new or different to the space that nobody else is doing or something like that. It's more just, I love what's going on here, so I want to be another voice. I keep jumping the gun and answering questions that are coming up later, so bear with me. What are some unique things you can bring to booktube? Like I said, I don't think I'm unique or anything special, just another person in the space, and wanting to make friends and kind of have more, I think, of an anchor in booktube to be able to participate, as opposed to just watching videos and maybe liking and commenting on other people's, because I don't really feel like I have a group of booktubers or people that I found on booktube that I talk to all the time. That's very much been on Bookstagram, and Bookstagram as a result is kind of at the place where I made friends, because I feel like it's really hard to get to know somebody if you can't see their own content, you can't hear their voice, see their face. Yeah, I don't feel like it's super unique. My goal is to kind of do a mix of talking head videos and reading vlogs. I do have a whole separate page on Instagram that I run with 2 of my friends, Maddie and Faye, and we do monthly buddy reads. And so if you're interested in following that handle is at Buddy Read Babes, just all one word, no underscores or periods or anything. And we do readathons every month, and so that'll be something that I'm looking to vlog and kind of incorporate here. I love TBR videos, I love wrap-ups, I love seeing book hauls and all of that, so I'm kind of hoping to do all of those types of videos. And the other big thing, obviously, is that I want to clear my TBR. So right now on my physical TBR, I have 654 books. And so kind of one of the goals of this channel is to give me some accountability while I try to clear that out. And I know it'll take a few years because I don't really read more than 150 to 200 books a year. And I'm still gonna be acquiring new books, so that'll be a project. Why do I love reading? So I think I've always had the travel bug since I was little, of just wanting to go to new places. I'm a huge extrovert. I love meeting people, talking to people, learning about people, and so books are kind of a more budget-friendly way to combine both of those activities. From a really young age, I felt like books were a safe space for me and somewhere that I could always go. I have never had issues with being bored. Growing up, I was never bored. There was always a book. And so I think with that, I just grew up with it being a huge part of my life, and it's continued to be a big part of my life in a really great way. And now it's kind of one of my core hobbies that really has formed a big part of my social circle at this point. And so I can't imagine my life without books or reading or anything of that sort. So, okay, what book or series got you into reading, and when did you start reading? So I taught myself to read when I was 4, which was basically inspired. So my sister is 4 years older than me, and I remember my mom helping her with her homework, and I was constantly trying to read over her shoulder and asking what words said and all that. And I got really tired of my mom telling me that I should basically just wait my turn or like be quiet, because I've never been good at waiting and I've never been able to shut up. Yapping is a full-time job over here. So because of that, I was kind of, I don't want to say inspired to read, because I would have eventually learned to read whether I was inspired or not. But that's what really motivated me to figure out what I was reading. So I distinctly remember the first book I read by myself was titled Frog and Toad Together. I don't know if there's still some memes from those books that go around. But yeah, that was my first foray into reading. As I was growing up, I would say like Frog and Toad Together, the big one. They had a couple of different like learning to read chapter book type things. So I read all of those. I love the Angelina Ballerina books. And then I got into like Junie B. Jones, which I would say is the first series that I remember like, I'm gonna go and check every single one of these out of the library and read it. And then as I got older, I remember Series of Unfortunate Events being the first, like, I felt like it was an adult book at the time, but, you know, middle grade book with words I didn't know, where I was following a story and not just, you know, kind of a one and done like board book or something like that. And then I read a lot of the Dear America Diaries, which I think is kind of the root of why I still love historical fiction. My favorite one was I don't remember what it was called, but I can visualize the cover. It's like purple with, you know, the little like portrait frames that all of the Dear America Diaries had on them. And this girl with like hair that was super frizzy, kind of my color, and it was about the prairie. And she was crossing the Oregon Trail with her family. And I remember her kind of, obviously they were kids, but like little love interest's name, I think, was Wyatt. And he like died halfway through. Spoiler alert. I want to say it was like of malaria, but it could have been like dysentery, but I might be confusing the Oregon Trail game. I don't know. But anyway, really remember that. When I was around 9, I think, is when I picked up my first Harry Potter book. I remember my mom not wanting me to read it by myself without her, and so we read the first one together, and then I just flew off from there and read all of them. And I think up till the 6th book was out, because I remember going to a midnight release party for Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows when I was like 11, 12 maybe, and then sitting in my dad's chair the next day and reading all through not the next day, but reading all through the night, all through the next day, finished it in one go. And that book is long if you've read it, especially for me, because I was in like 5th grade at the time. And I loved that. And I feel like that was the first time I was kind of got like a book high almost, and had that bug of like, I love this book so much and I have to start this whole series over from book 1 again, just to get that feeling. And then from there, the other big series I can think of that was kind of formative for my childhood was Percy Jackson. I loved those books, and I still love those books. And then I kind of petered off and didn't read a ton after high school. High school was the whole Shadowhunter series by Cassandra Clare, which I still love, particularly the Infernal Devices, so Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince, Clockwork Princess. My whole high school class was obsessed with those. All us girls would sit and read the books and talk about them at lunch and all that. And then going to college and law school, I read a little bit, but not a lot. And so when I first kind of started getting back into reading as an adult, it was with The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue during COVID, kind of, but also after I had passed the bar, which was the big, I would say, time when I felt like, okay, I can read for fun again because I don't have to study to pass this freaking test. That was really long-winded, so hopefully the other questions will be a little bit shorter. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? So I think for me, the main one would be like tips for growing and connecting with people on here. I feel like I see a lot of advice to like, oh, just comment on people's posts and, you know, like them and stuff like that. And that's great. But like beyond that, how do I connect? I see a lot of people creating like Discord servers or Patreons. Obviously, I have no interest in doing that until I actually like grow a following to the point where it would be like worth it if that happens, but I'm kind of expecting like 3 people ever to see this video and it not to go further than that. And then I guess maybe just what you wish you'd known when you were starting off, because I really like stress myself out about filming this, and it's incredible that I'm sitting here and just doing it, because I kind of didn't really think that I would ever get to this point in my booktube career, which hasn't even started yet. Yeah, so those are my main 2. I'm obviously open to any and all advice of any kind, so if you've been here for a while, please let me know things that you wish you'd known. I watch videos all the time from booktubers, especially recently, who are like, so you want to start a booktube, and then have, you know, however long they have about that. But I'm nervous but excited. Okay, what challenges with starting your channel do you think will be the hardest to overcome? For me personally, I don't know how many of you guys know what the Enneagram is, and it's fine if you don't, but just to give some context for people who do know what it is, I am an Enneagram 7, and a lot of times what that means for me is that I get very excited about new projects and put all this time into planning them and all of that, and then don't really follow through. Like, I don't have a ton of consistency, and then those projects just end up falling off. So I think that'll be a challenge for me, because YouTube is something where, I mean, my goal, at least to start, is to get a video up every week, even if it sucks, even if it's not that good, just to kind of get myself in the routine and habit of contributing to the bookish space in this way. I used to not be very consistent with Bookstagram either, but have very much gotten into a routine that I think works for me. So I'm hoping to do the same thing here, but we'll see how it goes. The other kind of facet of that too is editing videos, because I have never really done that. And so it's not that I'm scared of it necessarily, but I do think it's going to be an adjustment. So learning curve, it'll come easier after I do it a few times, but I've done it 0 times so far. And it'll probably show. Next question, where do you read? So I think my favorite reading spot is where I am right now, which is in kind of the loft of the 3rd floor of my house. I call it my book nook because we've got these 2 shelves. I'm looking at another shelf, and then I have a big chase right behind me. So I'll at some point show you guys around and do kind of like a bookshelf tour. Behind me are all books that I've read, and then my TBR shelves are across from me, and then in the library / guest room. So I love reading in the book nook. There's tons of natural light here, and it's nice and cozy. I also love reading in a hammock at the beach. I do a lot of really good like car reading, which I'm very blessed that I don't get like car sick or anything like that. And then I listen to a lot of audiobooks as well. A lot of times when I'm driving, when I'm in the shower, when I'm getting ready, when I'm walking Captain, my trusty steed over here. Okay, next question. What kind of books do you like to read? So I am first and foremost a fantasy girly. I love fantasy books, and I love romantasy. And so by extension, romance. I'm not as big of a fan as contemporary romance. Obviously there's some, I don't want to say few and far between, but I read a lot of romance that I like, but not a ton that I absolutely fell in love with. So I'd say fantasy is my top, romance would be second. I really like historical fiction. I don't read a ton of it, but I do really enjoy it when I do. Also, young adult, and that's because I'm a young adult. And then I also, this always surprises people about me because I think I come off as not very introspective, but I really love poetry. And right now, Amanda Lovelace is my favorite poet. Yeah, so I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way through, even if you skipped to this section, thank you too. I'm really excited about this. So this will be my first video. My hope is to upload on Fridays. So you'll see this today. My first like real video will go up tomorrow. And then, you know, we'll kind of go from there. But thank you so much for watching, and it would mean the world to me if you left a comment, if you liked anything, if you subscribed. But I know I'm still a new baby channel, so no pressure either way, but I hope to see you back here next time. And yeah, thank you so much.